Websites Call. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Websites Call. This is the call where we discuss our updates about our websites and any PRs and everything we discuss here. So let me quickly go through the workflow because last time we had a lot of newcomers. So welcome to Websites Call. We had a lot of newcomers last time. So basically, we have the agenda items lined up in this Google Doc, which we call meeting minutes. And yeah, we go through all these agenda items one by one and discuss about the updates people have been working on. You can add your name to the attendees list. I'll share the link in the chat. So yeah, before we start, do we have any newcomers today? I think Siva is the only one. So
yeah, so Siva, Siva. I don't know that Siva's been on this call before, so it'd be nice to be introduced. But he's been on, if it's the same Siva, on a few others, and actually, I don't know that that's actually Siva. Is that you or is that your bot? Your bot is just about as quiet as you were. Yeah, cool. Anyway, Ishan, there might be a couple of other folks that are new that are on.
Yeah, I think we just went up from 11 to 14 in just a second, so I'll just have a look. No, I think no, there's no newcomer today except Siva. So Siva, welcome to the Websites Call. Would you like to give us an introduction of yourself? Okay. I think Shiva has given an introduction in the chat, so everyone have a look there because I think there's some problem with his mic.
Yeah, no, yeah. So Ishan, like, nope. I'm not sure that Siva's on the call. Like that's an advertisement from Assembly.ai from some like Fireflies. There's a number of folks who join the calls who aren't always able to make it, but really want to be here and stay up to speed. So there's, I think, a Firefly agent and maybe a Workspace Assembly agent. I don't know. A couple of bots intermixed with the rest of us fleshies. Anyway, Pranav Patil, hey, if this is your first time on the call or on this particular call, the website's one, do you mind taking a moment just saying hi and letting everybody get to know you a little bit?
Hi everyone, this is Pranav. Yeah, I guess this is my first call on Mesri website. I have been on a development meeting before. Happy to be part of the community and will try to contribute with you all.
Awesome. Hey, welcome. Awesome. Yeah, nice. Good to have you on this call too.
Nice. I'm so sorry, Pranav. I missed you. I thought you would join the last week, so yeah, so sorry for missing you out. But yeah, cool. Welcome to the community, Pranav. So yeah, first topic. Let's get started with our meeting minutes. So the first topic we have is from getnighthawk.dev, and it is by Aditya Subedi, which is help wanted website discussion forum integration. So Aditya, would you like to go ahead with your topic?
Yeah. I'll share my screen.
Yep.
Wait. That's where did my So yeah, my task was to integrate the discussion forum that we have in discuss.layer5.io, where all the discussions about the community and the different projects occur. And what I did was integrated this discussion forum with the tag Nighthawk into this Get Nighthawk website. So they are in a bunch of places. One is in using Nighthawk. And another one is in where is it? Yeah, building Nighthawk. So yeah, they are in a bunch of like I guess in 3 different places. And I think one suggestion by Leonard was that we can add a link or add a heading that's in here itself that's saying recent post with Nighthawk tag. That will be easy for users to navigate. I will be doing that later. And additional to this, I have also added a similar feature to the Meshery.io website. It's inside the catalog cards inside the model, and also in the individual pages of the catalog items. And yeah, and along with this, I've also added a workflow to update that Meshery.json. I used the PR that was in the Meshery repository. I don't remember. Like he already like made a Dipanshu or someone made a PR request for the workflow. I just made few changes on the commit part, and yeah, and I just made the PR in the Meshery.io website. Yeah, this one I just made changes in this one. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah, cool. Like, could you go back to the get not nighthawk.dev if so that we have yeah. Okay, so this is the PR that Aditya has worked on. Guys, bring in your suggestions. Does anyone have any suggestions or constructive feedback for Aditya?
The logo is really small.
Like, I personally think wouldn't like because since we don't have a lot of topics in the discussion forum about Nighthawk, the thing you mentioned, like having a drop down below performance benchmarking, wouldn't that make no sense? Because like we don't have a lot of topics with Nighthawk, right?
Yeah, I'll add that one heading that says recent discussion with Nighthawk tag, and when user clicks it, it will open a new page that shows the discussion.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the same way, it's something of a call out to join the discussion in the forum, kind of like that, sort of like on the Layer 5 IO site. Or I think there's
I was thinking more a button which will display the same thing, and below it will add a call out button to put more. You can ask more questions here in the discussion forum. It will be present, like the page will have this also, and below this it will put a call out saying add more topics in the discussion forum.
Gotcha. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I was going to make that change, but you merged that page.
Man, I only have my trigger finger only has so much strength in it to just stay off the mount. Like it just hovers over the merge button. It gets weak after a while and just falls down, clicks.
So yeah, any other feedback for Aditya, guys? It's okay, even if it's not, if it doesn't make sense, it is important to speak up and give your feedback. If you find this good, just tell him that it's good.
And additional to this, I have found like there are many CSS changes, CSS breakages in the catalog website. Like the text is overflowing, and some of this logo is like overflowing, right? And so I guess that's a good first issue, like CSS fixing. And I guess some mobile view of the page also is breaking somewhat. Yeah, this is way too big. So yeah, there's a couple of CSS changes that needs to be done, and yeah, I guess it will be the card is not opening when clicked in mobile view. So yeah, that will be a good first issue for someone who is looking to like start contributing it.
Yeah, makes sense. Yeah, cool. Then cool. Thank you, Aditya. Well, yeah. I think the next topic will be about this. I think Aditya covered this topic as well, to create a
Yeah,
workflow.
I did it.
Yeah,
I
cool.
could not do it in the Nighthawk, but I did the same thing in Meshri.ai. I'll do the same thing in Nighthawk.
Thank you, Aditya. Next up, we are moving to the Layer5 site. The first topic would be about handing out the badges, which is of, I think, if I'm not wrong, for the Figma designs and for UI UX. So is Casey on the call?
Yeah, I am here.
Yeah, cool. Would you like to discuss your topic? I think I don't think there's anything to be discussed. It's just that what is the criteria that, like, which candidates fit in the award, like for the initial handing of the awards, and again, it talks about possible candidates for the badge, like whom all to give the badge.
No, you're actually right. That's like what needs to be discussed. Like that hasn't been figured out yet at this point. That I think why my name is there is because they want me to actually look into it and see how these things can be dished out, right? So it's all about figuring out the possible candidates for the UI UX. Maybe Lee could talk about this better. That would actually be more preferred for me to.
Yeah. So good. Yeah. So the item that's being spoken to is it's the fact that if you're here in the community long enough, and should other community managers or meshmates or maintainers identify you as somebody that they feel like embodies kind of the pay it forward mentality of the community, then, well, you might get asked to do any number of things, but one of those things you might be asked is if you'd like to have a member profile, just a community member profile out on the site here. And for those that choose to have one or are asked to have one, there's a number of profile badges to collect for the various, it's really, the badges are really a representation of your efforts. There's a small token of recognition for, the profile itself is a token of recognition that, of a few different things, some of which I just said. These individual small badges represent the fact that you've been contributing in a particular area. Some badges like this Meshmate badge are highlighted on the front of the member profile, but there's a number of badges to collect. Some might be, this is a community one, so Ishan regularly hosts this call. Anyway, so there's a writing program in the community, and those that participate should end up with a writing badge. I think D is, we're about to have a new writing badge published. There's also a new UI UX badge. I think those two badges are particularly nice to have. Like, I'm desperately trying to find a place to show all the badges, and I didn't want to pull up my profile, but it just, with this super nerd here, it makes for a good example of what some of the badges look like. And so there's a couple of new badges to come forth. A writing program, so with like a pen with naturally green ink coming out, and then a UX badge that has also been designed somewhat, unfortunately, maybe it also is the shape of a pen. So we're going to have a little bit of a problem. Anyway, the point is there's this badging program. It's a collect the whole set type thing. So I hope that each one of you collects the entire set and we make new ones. We have new projects that come forth. We have a number of projects that probably aren't represented here. Oh, I don't even want to think about it, but yeah, there's a few. And so in order to it's a merit badge, or it's a participation badge. If you've been busy in a particular area, if you worked on service mesh patterns, maybe on the website, the separate website for service mesh patterns, or if you've made an entry in the Meshry catalog, which is where we keep those patterns, great, you should probably get one. I've asked community managers a number of times to try to like define the specific requirements for what it might mean to earn a particular badge. Those aren't necessarily written down, but it's fairly, if you feel like you should have one, then you probably should. It's, unless you're skipping ahead. But so here's the Meshry operator, here's the Nighthawk badge. The landscape badge is, well, it represents a ton of effort that a lot of people, actually representatives of each of these projects, have made commits on this website. We had a real strong focus on service meshes initially, and continue to have a focus on service mesh, but much more broadly across cloud native today within these projects. Anyway, as an early start, we were tracking the landscape of not only service meshes, but proxies and tracking their functionality. Anyway, point is the landscape was its own piece of work and continues to be, so it has a badge. So yeah, that's the deal. There's a few people. So as we get the new UX badge and the new writing program badge, there's a few folks who should just receive those quite quickly. Some of you that are on the call might have worked on this filter as well. Like, it's not necessarily to be overlooked. It's kind of convenient if you want to connect with a meshmate. A good way of some folks have, any folks come into the community, participate for some time, and life happens, and they'll end up shift their focus and move on. Sometimes they come back. And so we tried to, after a couple of months or so of inactivity, we'll just update status. And if folks come back, we'll bring it back in. So Ayush was here focused on front end really before we'd had much of a, or his profile represents that he was a fairly early member. So, okay, anyway, just kind of rambling about what those are. So yeah, so it'd be great if we had that stuff written down. Some of this is written into the README in the Layer 5 repo. It'd be great if we wrote down some of what was just said, and if we put that into the community handbook. By the way, the community handbook is a bit underformed and a little bit of a hodgepodge of a collection of things. So it's not the best written thing. I don't think we've really promoted it much beyond just pointing it out to people that join here. It'd be great if you're taking a look through that handbook, and hopefully you've all seen it. You might either have questions about things that are said, or you might have suggestions about different things that need to be written. This is the handbook here. Meshmate Anita had done quite a bit of work on this particular page, and then on the handbook overall as well. So I think that the badges maybe are spoken to. They're spoken to on one of these pages. Anyway. Yeah, anyway, just quick to go back to what Subedi was talking about. I think we're going to have another topic on it here in a bit. And so maybe I'll withhold a bunch of comments and call to action for help wanted from a number of you. Actually, here's one right here. So we'll be sure to cover that one. Cool. Okay. Back to, I think it's Udit. If you're here, you're up.
Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, you want to share your screen and kind of introduce people to performance issues?
Okay, so this was the main issue in the website about the performance. It was around 31, and also even if you do here, it would be around 30 to 50. So there are a number of changes that I had to do to improve the performance. I have mentioned it here. Right? One was that this diagram, if you see, it was taking a lot of time to just load, which was essential for the largest contentful paint. So I just optimized this essay. This is the build version, which is currently its performance is around 88, and each first contentful paint is 1.1, and largest is also same. I just build one custom component which we can use instead of like a package which we were using before. The only issue which is left is like this time to interactivity, which I think I have to still look up how can we improve it. I look for some solutions. Some of them recommended that we can use something like Preact instead of React to decrease the bundle size. Although I did try to use remove the React helmet, the third-party package which we're using, and use the native Gatsby API, which did decrease the bundle size, but it was not that enough. So, and also like there was one more issue which meant like we should add SVGO plugin, which would decrease the size of the SVG file, but there was not any much improvement with this. So if anyone can inspect if there's something which I did wrong, can just look up it. And
Yeah.
that's pretty much it.
And yeah, those are good investigations. It's interesting to note that between the two examples that you gave of React Helmet and using the Gatsby native component, that it didn't really have, switching that, while it was a little bit faster, it didn't really have a material impact on the score here. And while you did run a number of SVGs through the reducer tool, a compression tool, that didn't really have the impact that you were looking for. So do we know the time to interactive being 10 seconds? Do we know which particular, is this, in your mind, do you think this is about reordering the sequence by which JavaScript or CSS is loaded? Or
Actually, I tried to comment some of the components in the main website, but the result was something similar only. The time to active was around 10 seconds, even if I like removed all these components which were below. I think this is mainly due to this some Google Tag Manager or something like this packages which are not being used. So maybe if I can try to reduce this and use JavaScript.
yeah, so the Google Tag Manager, that would be dumbfounding if it was a culprit, just because that's, almost used on every site there is, or on lots and lots of sites. There's a piece of, so you are looking at the site in mobile form, which is a good note to make. I think that's how Google indexes the site. It does, this particular site, it indexes it mobile first. There is a piece of content. There's it's around a 4 meg or so video that will load if you visit the site in desktop mode. And there's been a number of people here who've tried to, optimize around how that gets loaded. So if you refresh the screen once or twice, you'll notice that the banner, the hero, so to speak, there's about 4 or so banners, and the default one, the first one, has this video, which doesn't or is not supposed to load in mobile view. So that's actually just one thing to check. Like if the performance test is being run, it shouldn't, if the performance test is being run in a mobile, under mobile mode, that video shouldn't load. So it should, and I just wonder if, given its size and given its relative location near the top of the page, I wonder if it isn't.
No, I don't think any video was being loaded at this time.
Okay, and so here in mobile view, so which one do we get better performance on right now?
On desktop.
Desktop. Okay. Isn't that interesting? Yeah, it's a big deal.
And there is no issue of time to interactivity here.
Yeah. So I guess I'm confused. So great. So is that low time to interactive? Is that the mobile report or the desktop report?
It was for mobile only.
Okay. It's okay. So this, okay. So the mobile doesn't have that video. Yeah, I still wonder if that video, if we ruled out that video as being the naughty thing.
Actually, I checked this also. There was no video which was loaded.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Just to repeat, and for others that might look into this as well, Udit, you were saying that the mobile version is the one that has performance issues. And conceptually, it is not loading, and you don't see a video loading in the assets here. So my superstition that video, that larger piece of content was slowing things down, is probably misplaced. So that's good. That eliminates maybe that as an issue. Yeah.
Okay.
If you do find that there is JavaScript that is being loaded but not used, that's another point of interest. There's a lot of sections. It might be that we want to cut down the number of sections that are on the main page itself. Not all of them are, critical.
I think we are already using loadable here for that.
Yeah, but say that again.
Only these components are being loaded at the time. These one are lazy loaded.
Okay. And that time to first interactive excludes the sections that are lazily loaded, the modules that are.
Yes, I think so.
It's something to confirm as you dig in. Like this whole set of performance concerns is like such a juicy thing for, well, a number of you that are here to jump into, because it gets really specific, and it can take a little while to figure out the mechanics by which, like, you can really improve performance. It's quite detailed. So anyway, these are all good things to know. So we don't have a smoking gun just yet then, Udit.
Yeah, okay. I'll just try to look for some other solutions.
Yeah. I mean, just this is not the best suggestion that I could give, but yeah, if you turn off a section and do a test, turn off another section, do a test, you can, that's kind of one way.
I had tried that already, just on the main page, but the result was almost same.
Was it? Okay. Well, that actually tells you something, right? Like, and what would that tell you? So, yeah, I'd be interested in more of a write-up from what you've seen, whether you put that into the issue or into a Google Doc or something. Like, because if you've disabled all the sections and you're still seeing a slow time to load, we're doing something wrong.
No, the time to load is fast only, but only the time to interactivity is the main issue.
Thanks. Is that something that you can do? Can you write down the specific things that you tried? So we can kind of.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. That's great. Anybody else interested in helping? Please get with Udit or just try a few experiments yourself. It's quite important because that particular, while we have like 10 sites, that particular site, well, it represents all of the work here. A poor performance like this impacts SEO, or impacts PageRank. And so, yeah, we want people to find the projects. Cool.
Thank you, Udit. I hope you have got your feedback. Next up, we have Dipashad and Utkarsh's topic. So if you have been around for a month or so, you might know that we have moved to an integration spreadsheet for the site, which is for the integrations which load up on the site layerfi.io. I'll just quickly show you before they start with the demo. So yeah, all of these integrations, we have moved to a complete new way, that is an integration spreadsheet. So to talk about that, we have here today Dipisha and Utkarsh. So would you guys like to go ahead with your topic?
Yeah, I'll share my screen. Hold on.
I just found a bug here. We have 2 cert managers, so it's a good issue for anyone who's willing to fix this up. So no also doesn't load up.
Okay, I'll share my screen. That's fine, right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen? Okay,
Yeah.
great. Yeah. So I was supposed to work on the rows 75 to 95, and I'm done up to 85. I am currently filling all of the features of all of the integrations that we just saw that Ishan showed us. So all of these features I have taken off of either their official websites or their GitHub pages. And yeah, I have managed to fill around 85. So I have 10 more to go, which I think I should complete by tomorrow. So yeah, I think that's my main update on this. And since I'm already speaking, I just wanted to cover the writing program too. So currently we have a few folks writing different articles or blogs. So
Deepesh,
yeah.
just to interrupt. As you switch topics, do you mind also not showing people, like showing what you're speaking about?
Oh yeah, sure.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Oh.
Is there any call to action here, Deepesha or Utkarsh, in terms of the spreadsheet?
No, actually, just from my side, the update is like you given me a task which the integration are deleted due to some errors to update those. So I've done with those, and just those which are not present now in the integration spreadsheet, I will be just updating it today. Due to the new year, I was not able to do, but today I will be doing that.
I know that there's a few folks on the call that may not understand the criticality of the spreadsheet. You want to speak to that? Just the role that it plays?
Yeah, so we have an upcoming project called Mesh Map, where we will be using all of these components, and it is kind of used to display what each component can be used for and how do you explain this? It's used basically different integrations. You've got different logos or all kinds of data based on every integration. So this spreadsheet will contain all of the data, which will directly get shown onto MeshMap or our websites, which will be Layer 5's website and Meshri's website. So that's why we're currently filling the spreadsheet. So yeah.
Nice. And yeah, Ashish, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, actually, okay. So should I talk about the Meshri.io integrations? Okay, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
I'll share my screen.
Yeah, and just the and the important. So I can fine. I'll say it, and that is that the spreadsheet itself isn't specifically about MeshMap. It impacts MeshMap. It impacts Meshri itself. It's quite at the core of what Meshri does anymore. Meshri integrates with and provides configuration management and orchestration over each of the cloud native projects that are listed here. And in order to track all of those and to move quickly through them, describing them, categorizing them, and keeping track of what each of those are, the spreadsheet gets used to literally generate components for Meshri to represent these integrations inside of the Meshri server. It also gets used to do what Deepesha had said, which is to facilitate kind of programmatic publishing of these integrations and details about them to currently just to one site. And then Ashish is going to talk about how that might be done to Meshri.io as well.
Okay, so should I take it from here?
Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. So assuming my screen is visible. So, okay. So if you go over into the Layerfi website, you'll find that we have all these integrations structured differently, which is to say that each integration is its own directory. And if you go in any of these directories, you would find a markdown file, which is then used to render those components on the website. And then there is an icon directory, and then there is color and white. So every one of these integrations have the same exact structure, which is icon and then the markdown file. Over in the Meshri website, we actually source the data from this particular static data.js file, from where it's just a variable, it's an array of all the JSONs, which should not be the case. So I was proposing that instead of having it this way, because I don't think we can use markdown over here, because it just, HTML, CSS, basic stuff. So if that's the case, then I was proposing that inside of my workflow that I have, what the workflow does is that it goes over to the integration spreadsheet, or that's this one. It goes over to the integration spreadsheet, and it extracts all the data from here, and then it pushes that to the from things like images and all. It pushes those things over to the websites, and also pushes the markdown file. There can be a JSON mode to that. There can be a JSON flag that can be added onto the workflow, where in the case where I'll be checking out the Meshri.io website for the same exact thing, instead of pushing the markdown, I can push the JSON files. But the idea is that we shouldn't have everything in the same JSON file like we have over here, because these are just some n number of integrations as they I don't know how many these are, maybe I think Lee pointed out these are 50, 60, something like in that range. So as these are increased to, let's say, 500 or 600, the whole file would be pretty hard to manage, and especially loading it into the file system would be, it would be time consuming and all. It would be IO heavy operation. So it's better to have these JSON files split up, just like we have these markdown files split up over here. So maybe the JSON files can have the same exact things, like the title key and the subtitle key, the same exact things that you have over here in the markdown. If there is an alternative suggestion to how the structure of the directory as well as the source of data for the Meshri.io website should look like, then yeah, I'm open to that. If this particular suggestion looks good, then inside of someone will have to find a way to here over there's just data.js. I might create another directory and follow the same exact pattern, which is to say that I'll create a directory named as maybe models or maybe integrations, and then go with the exact same procedure by creating all these directories. So the code in the JavaScript would have to change in such a way that it goes to each of these directories recursively, and not recursively, iteratively, and then basically sources the JSON files and loads everything. And if that sounds inefficient, if someone has some other suggestion, then
yeah. Well, let me present this slightly. It's a good suggestion. Actually, Ashish, if you were to take that approach that you just said and were to direct it at a different website, Meshri Docs, I think that's a fantastic approach, because in Meshri Docs, each integration will ultimately be described a bit, because each one will behave a little bit differently. Meshri will integrate with these different systems a little bit differently, and they'll each, in that sense, it's fantastic that each would have their own YAML document, or they would each have their own page. And maybe there's recordings of how those integrations work or what have you. Here in Meshri.io, if you visit the site, there'll be about 80-ish or so integrations that are out there, and currently they are made to look pretty. They have the ability to be clicked on, yet people can't. And so what I'm trying to say is it's not readily obvious, but Meshri.io is one site, and the Meshri Docs is a different site. And so if you click on see all integrations, that green button at the top, there's just a different presentation, a 3D presentation of those same integrations. People can interact by scrolling in and out and grabbing and moving it around, kind of messing with playing around with the 3D thing. They can't yet click the individual cards. in the future, they could, to get a full description of like what that integration is. And when they do, the idea is that that link would take them to Meshry docs. And so what I'm trying to say is, like, the suggestion that you have, if you were to aim it at the docs site, I think that's the perfect setup. On Meshry.io, it is, it's more about presentation, letting people know an overall view of Meshry's capabilities. And so the 3JS.
I mean, I assume that we also need other fields like category and subcategory. Was that a wrong assumption? Do we not need anything extra over here, or like name, color, and these things? Are these enough?
For now, they might be. For now they are. In the future, maybe it would be nice if there was a better way of navigating and browsing through the integrations. But even then, like we would cross that bridge when it comes. Like the problem with the 3D page is it wants to consume it wants to natively consume a single JSON file, because it's 3JS is the name of the library that's being used to render those 3D perspectives. It's probably more than it's worth.
Yeah, I understood what you said. So so the reason I said all that, because I thought there were more fields that would be added over here, like subcategory and category, which would even increase the size even more. So if that's the case, even in that case, instead of data.js file, there would be one data.json file, and there would be just an array of all those JSONs, and that would be pushed by the workflow with the JSON flag. So there would be, so we would have to document it somewhere that when you don't pass the JSON flag, the default is the markdown mode, which we use over here. And when you pass the JSON flag, it would generate this particular array, which can then be consumed by the basically the JavaScript.
Makes sense to me. And then there'll be a third one. Well, maybe a third one where when we publish to docs.meshry.io, it would be YAML. It would be very similar to publishing to the Gatsby-based layer5.io. There might not need to be any change other than just publishing to another repo. Any change from how it's done for layer 5, .io. So,
okay.
Yeah, I think you're on a good path. Actually, I had I don't know, Gangan Preet is on the call, and I had mentioned her in context of this work, and it strikes me that that Subedi, you might be both better, that there's another piece of work for Gangan Preet to do. Maybe we should like highlight Subedi as having been focused on Jekyll collections to engage here as we go to publish that on docs.meshry.io. So that's just the last comment. Yeah, because I don't know that there'll be much work for Gangan Preet to do on Meshry.io if all that's being done is just that there's a programmatic full population of, just a longer list. Like there's actually hopefully nothing to be done from the front end. But on Meshry docs, Subedi, you've got some work inbound.
Regarding this integrations, like we have to show.
Yeah. Pretty easy, actually.
I'm not clear of the work, but yeah, I'll ask around in Slack.
Can I go ahead with the agenda then?
Yeah, please, Innes.
Yeah, cool. So in case any of you missed out, so we started with this topic. I am assuming you can see my screen.
Yep.
So we started this topic, which Dipisha covered about integration sheet. Then we jumped on to Ashi's integrations on Meshry website. And now we're back again about the writing program. So Dipisha, you're telling us something about the writing program, so you can continue.
Yeah. Okay, give me a second. Yeah, so at Layer 5, we have a writing program where you can contribute to any kind of content, different blogs, articles, or literally any kind of content. If there's anything else, if there's any kind of video, tutorial, or anything else you want to submit, you can submit that. It all comes under the writing program. We have a few folks who are contributing to different articles, blogs. We have a few PRs up. So if anybody is interested, we currently have that going on. Along with that, we also have a content calendar where we have all of the topics that we need to cover. So if anybody is interested, you can fill the content form which was there on the writing program page, and you can take up a topic from here. Or if you want to write on something, you can do that too. Anything cloud native works as long as that topic hasn't been covered yet. So yeah, any interested folks, you can message me on Slack too. Yeah, that's what I wanted to cover.
Yeah, cool. Thank you, Dipisha. As she said, there is a writing program up, so it is a great way of contributing to Layer 5 as a non-code way. So yeah, make sure you check that out. All the links are here in the meeting minutes, the content calendar, as well as the writing program. Next up, we have the topic about the writing programs batch. So to give context, people who have been writing blogs and posts for us, so we have come up with a badge, as Lee explained in the start of the meeting, that we have batches for different project and repository. So for example, I'll just show the badges again. Although Lee went through this, I'll just quickly. So yeah, we all have these badges. So basically these badges are, for example, we have the Meshri badge. So people who have been associated with the Meshri project or have been contributing to Meshri have the Meshri badges in their profile. So all of these are community member profiles. So in a similar way, we have decided to come up with a writer's badge, which is basically to give appreciation to people who have been writing posts and blogs for us. So yeah, that was the context about the writer's badge. And I think these work to hand out the writer's badge to people who deserve it. Like, yeah. So Dee, would you like to tell us more about this, or anything you have to say on this? If he's here. I don't think he's in the meeting. Okay, we don't have Dee today in the meeting.
Dee is not on the call, but so just to add to what has already been said, we're able to come up with, Dee actually came up with a badge for the writers program, and I'll drop the link here. This is what the badge looks like so far, and we've created issues to get the badges available on the different pages, like the members profile, on the handbook, as well as in the README. So that is already assigned to different individuals, and we're expecting Dee to give us the SVG file so we can get started with that. But that's so far on the badges.
Okay, cool. Anita, would you like to show us the design? Because I think my Figma got logged out. So.
Oh, sure. Let me see if I can share my screen there. So if you can see my screen, this is what the badge looks like, right next to the US badge.
Looks good.
Yeah, I'm surprised he actually came up with it in short time, but it does look great. I love the colors. It looks like the Layer 5 colors.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Does anybody, actually, I'd be curious as to what it would look like if the UX badge inverted its colors. So if like the majority of it was that darker Keppel green, like But one thing to think about, just a question is, if you were to see these two badges on a profile, would you know what they were for, or would you, if you saw them side by side, would it be evident that one was for UX, one was for writing? Something to, yeah, I'll let you guys answer it.
The UX badge, though, it looks somewhat like a pen.
Yeah, I think so too. I was just thinking, when the writer's badge is like, you can guess what it is, but for the UX, I think it looks more like something related to writing too.
And the point is, if there's a person who has the UX badge as well as the writers program badge, there's a high chance that they are almost like undistinguishable. So
Yeah.
And people can get confused.
Yeah.
Makes sense. So yeah, are we finalizing these two, or as Lee said, and like we are noticing right now, do we need more changes?
I mean, aside the fact that the implementing of the US badge is already in motion, it would be good to throw in a few more ideas to what the badge should look like, because it looks a lot like a pen.
Cool. Actually, one more design I have for the writer's badge is the design which Shivam Sood came up with. So if he's in the call, he can quickly show us the design. But I personally think that was a good design for the writer's badge, writer's badge. It's somewhere in the website's channel. So yeah, if Shivam is on the call, he can quickly show us his badge. I mean, I personally thought that was a very good design for the writer's badge. Which Shivam is on the call. Shivam, am I audible?
Hi, Ishan.
Yeah, can you just show us your writer's badge design, which you posted on the website's channel?
Yeah, just a second. Actually, I'm out right now. I do not have the system on my laptop. But just a second. I'll share on my phone.
Okay, or what you can do is you can post it on the website channel after this call as well, so that everyone has it.
Sure.
Yeah, since we have a lot of topics remaining. Yeah, cool. Cool, thank you. You can check Shivam's design on the website's channel after this call. Ashi just covered this topic, and next up we have Yash's topic, which is review on the 3D integration loader. Yash, would you like to go ahead with your topic? I don't see Yash on the call. So in that case, we'll move ahead with the next topic, which is discuss forum integration using Nighthawk, which has already been covered by Subedi. So yeah, all these topics have been spoke about at least once in this call. So we'll come back to this topic if we have time later. For now, we'll go to Utkarsh's topic, which is the CSS PR which has been installed. Utkarsh, would you like to go ahead with your topic?
Lee suggested me to be giving some insights on this PR. Can you please tell me what you were thinking about for this PR, Lee?
Should I share the screen, or would you like to share the screen?
You can share. You can just go to the PR and just.
I'll quickly open up the preview. I believe it is blog, right? If I'm not wrong. Slash. It was for the mobile view.
It's not mobile friendly.
Yeah, I think that was the aim for the PR, like to make this specific page mobile friendly. I'll just. Yeah, it is not responsive. So I think that is what is needed to fix.
Okay, I will fix that.
Cool. Also, I think I also gave a couple of reviews on this PR about the logo being too large for the mobile site.
Exactly. That was I was talking about. Lee wanted to give some suggestions on this PR. Would you like to give, Lee?
You get it's an SVG, and you guys can just move it, like squish it on down. It there is an alternative version of it. There's two versions of this particular icon. You can find them in the community drive. I think the smaller version just has one of the three scores, which makes it less tall. But yeah, I mean, it's the page itself doesn't seem to be. Yeah, I mean, the page itself needs to be responsive. Outside of just that, that's the image is only one of your problems. Our problems. Yeah, you know, things tend to go to a single column at some point when they're in mobile view. Words get bigger. Text gets size. Yeah. Unfortunately, like media queries are still kind of, they're not exactly necessary. It'd be nice if the world got rid of media queries. You can do calc, or you can do min max on like using VW or VH to be like completely free of any media queries. But
okay, no problem. I got it. I will be working on this after this call. No issues.
Cool. So the two feedbacks for you are, first of all, the page itself is not responsive. To make it responsive, and second of all is the image. So I hope that is clear.
Yeah, that's
cool. Next up, we have Arunima's Navbar PR. I think this has been this PR has been for quite a long time now. So Arunima, would you like to share?
Yeah, I think it is like already approved. So I'm just sharing it.
Cool.
So yeah, this is the PR. This is how it looks, and yeah. Yeah, that was it. It was just a, and if we click on the text,
so for the people who don't have context, this PR was about to fix the nav bar for the mobile view and make it responsive and to make it better as well. So yeah, this is Arunima's work. So if anyone has any feedback or suggestions, please do open your mic and tell her, because this PR has already been approved. So if there are any changes that you think need to be made, please let us know.
I think Lee just dropped down his suggestion.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So Arunima, we don't exactly need an inner shadow for the nav bar. A drop shadow will also do, as Lee said.
So, sorry, I couldn't understand.
Like you have given an inner shadow for the nav bar right now. So
this one?
No, the background, like the dark background. He's talking about that.
Okay, the background. I guess it was in another PR. This is not in my PR.
Yeah.
In my PR, I just added this background shadow, and on clicking on the text, the menu expands and adding the scroll bar.
Yeah. Yeah. So, Arunima, you're adding that green inner shadow as well?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's what we're referring to, is like we don't have an inner shadow on the rest of the site just yet. And so if you were to convert that to a drop shadow for the menu, I think one of the last pieces of feedback that you had gotten is that the menu itself was pure white and wasn't necessarily distinguished from the site itself. And so it wasn't necessarily obvious to visitors that they were looking at a menu, maybe. And so
Okay.
yeah, if you were to invert that, it is a lot of use of different colors. It looks like we've got a sub menu under community, and so that takes on a different color. It has it has a border radius, which maybe it shouldn't in that sub menu. I don't know. It might be that we're trying to get too fancy, potentially.
Okay, so but I think this is the color that is used in the other website as well.
Nice.
We'll
Yeah.
have to look into that, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, if you just leave that, I mean, if you just take off the inner shadow and
Okay.
put a drop shadow, and you'll be done. Or don't put a
Okay.
drop shadow. And if you don't put a drop shadow, just make the thing full width, the menu, and
Okay.
then I think at some point that light dark mode switcher, there was talk of maybe moving that to the left-hand side of the menu. I don't know. Just
Yeah, I gave that suggestions a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, if anyone thinks that is valid, then yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I think it should be on the left side too.
Okay. So yeah, Arunima, again, to summarize, I was talking about the dark mode toggle being near to where the Y ends from the meshery. So that looks better, like on the left side of the menu icon, because menus are
Okay.
generally in the top right corner of the website.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that is one suggestion.
Okay.
Or else not, if near to the Y, you can just put it on the left side of the menu. That will also work.
Okay, sure.
Yeah. Cool. Any other feedback for Arunima, guys? Any suggestions, feedback? Cool. Thank you, Arunima. I think we have got all the major. We do have one more topic left, which is retheming of the Meshery Docs website. Krishna, would you like to tell us quickly about the retheming and what is your progress on the Docs website?
Yeah, so he wasn't able to make it today, and that's what I was thinking of, or trying to think of, when I was referring to what Gangan Preet might shift her focus to. Gangan Preet, there's an open PR that I think you've given review on in the past, probably. It's something of a retheming of the Meshery Docs site. Krishna Gupta is detained, and maybe for another few weeks. And so he's had an open PR for a few weeks already. It's probably time to pick up that PR and move it forward. Do you mind taking a look and seeing if that's of interest to you?
Okay. I'll look into it.
Okay.
Does anyone have the link to the PR so that I can share the PR? You don't have a link to the PR, you know?
I'll find it, Ishan. No worries.
Okay, cool, no problem. Cool, then. I think this was the last topic of our agenda. Now coming back to this topic, okay. Lee, do we have to discuss this topic today because we are already over time?
Nope. No, it can wait.
Okay, cool. Cool, and that was the last of the topics which we had for today's agenda. We are already 6 minutes over time, so it would be a good time to end the meeting if no one has any questions or doubts. Cool, cool then. Thank you for joining, everyone. We are.
Yeah, thanks. That was great. Hey, happy 2023.
Yeah, happy New Year, everyone.
Yeah, okay, bye.
Thanks.
Yeah, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.